Okay, 2 John chapter 1 verse 8. Look to yourselves that we do not lose those things we worked for, but that we may receive full reward. Whoever transgresses and does not abide in the doctrine of Messiah does not have YAHUSHUA. He who abides in the doctrine of Messiah has both the Father and the Son. And this is what Yohanan tries to bring home to everybody who reads his messages without their religious glasses on. He's trying to show them here that obey the Torah, obey the Torah, obey the Torah. He tries to tell them in all different ways to obey the commandments. Almost every verse tells you to obey the commandments. And then he says, be careful of the deceivers who reject the commandments. Be careful of them who reject the truth. Be careful of them because they are trying to steal that which you worked so hard for, to steal it away from you by deceiving you. Shaul also warns you of this in Colossians. Let's read verse 8 again. Look to yourselves that we do not lose those things we worked for, but that we may receive a full reward. Whoever transgresses and does not abide in the doctrine of Messiah. As I said earlier, what is the doctrine of Messiah? To obey the Torah, to keep the commandments. He just elaborated on the Torah. He told the people, the Torah written on your heart. How do you make it part of your life? What do you do daily? For instance, he said, you have heard that they say, you must not murder. And then he says, but if you hate someone, you have committed murder. And then he'll say, you have heard it said in the Torah that you are not allowed to commit adultery. And then he said, but I say to you that whoever looks at a woman to lust after her has committed adultery in his heart. So YAHUSHUA was telling the people how to implement the Torah in your life. When it is written on your heart, what do you do? That's what he was doing. Because the Torah was there to the people. They did not understand it. They did not know how to to make it part of their lives. So YAHUSHUA came and showed them practical ways how to make the Torah part of your life. What you need to do if you believe in Yahuwah for your salvation. And when you start receiving the Torah on your heart, what you need to do daily. That was what he was elaborating on. He did not come to do away with the Torah. He elaborated on it. He told the people how to obey it. And when anybody asked him, how do I get saved? What do I do? He said, keep the commandments. Have you ever heard a preacher tell you that? I've never heard a preacher ever tell anybody that asked him, I want to be saved. What do I need to do? No, none of them will tell them, keep the commandments. No way. They only say, oh, believe in Jesus and you're saved. That's not scriptural. There's two parts. Believe in YAHUSHUA for your salvation, who set you free from your lawlessness. Then you turn away from your lawlessness and you start obeying the Torah, the commandments. That's the salvation message. In a nutshell. Verse 10. If anyone comes to you and does not bring this doctrine, do not receive him into your house nor greet him. Which doctrine? The doctrine here is mentioning the first part of this chapter. This is love, that we walk according to his commandments. This is the commandment that, as you have heard from the beginning, you should walk in it. That doctrine, walk in the Torah, that's the doctrine he is referring to here. If anyone comes to you and does not bring this doctrine of obeying the Torah, like the church does today, they bring a different doctrine to you. They tell you, live lawless. They tell you, oh, you're saved by grace, so you can sit back in your lazy chair, watch TV, and you're saved. Don't worry. That's the Christian message of salvation. The scriptural message of salvation is obey the Torah through faith in YAHUSHUA Messiah. And this is what he's saying here. Be careful of those who preach a different doctrine, the opposite of what I preach, which is keep the commandments. The other doctrine the deceivers preach is don't keep the commandments. That's the Antichrist spirit working in them. There are many preachers like that on YouTube, like Final Call 07, Soldiers of the Cross, many, many more. They say don't obey the Torah. They say tear out the Old Testament. They say if you keep the commandments you go to hell. Yeah, they say that things. And then they want to quote a scripture here and there. Misquote scriptures, of course, because they don't understand what they're reading. For he who greets him shares in his evil deeds. Let's start verse 10 again. If anyone comes to you and does not bring this doctrine, do not receive him into your house nor greet him. For he who greets him shares in his evil deeds. Yohanan is saying to you that you should go so far as to not even greet these people. Don't let them in your house who preach lawlessness, who tells you you don't have to obey the Torah. Don't even greet them, because then you show everybody else you're part of their group. Then other people might associate you with those people. So don't even greet them. And it's actually funny, but in these days, if this is the case, you would almost greet nobody. Which I'm talking about is the Christian religion. You see, I have nothing against the people. The thing is, the people are deceived. Christianity is just another religion. They only have part of the truth. They don't have the whole truth. Why do you think 80% of the world, of most countries' population say they are Christians? Do you think 80% of the world is going to get saved? No. The word tells us that the way to life is very narrow and few finds it. Did YAHUSHUA say most will find it? No. He said a few will find it. So that already tells me that most people in the world won't make it. And if Christianity is like 80% of most groups of people, then that already tells me there's something wrong with Christianity, because that's not the narrow way. They don't believe only lies. They do know a few things that is truth, only a few things, but there's a lot of things they reject, which is truth that they need to do, which also brings them to salvation. Faith in YAHUSHUA Messiah means you obey the Torah. Faith without works is dead. So the second part of salvation, they reject. They only want to do the first part of salvation, but the second part they want to reject. Is that going to be good enough? According to Scripture, salvation is a process. Verse 12, having many things to write to you, I did not wish to do so with paper and ink, but I hope to come to you and speak face to face, that our joy may be full. The children of your elect sister greet you, Amen. So that is the second epistle of Yohanan. And next I'm going to do the third epistle of Yohanan.